Hi everybody. This is your friend Daniel Hutchins. And we are back again on my bed. As you see, I got my hand on my head. And like I said, we are talking about every version of Alfred ranked from worst to best. This is from our friends the Looper. Okay. So this was from last year. Okay? So you want to know all the Alfreds and how they are ranked? Well, you came to the right place, because we are going to be talking about Alfred Pennyworth. Yes, Alfred Pennyworth. While he's originally introduced as a comic relief, Alfred Pennyworth has evolved over the years to become more important characters of the entire Batman history. He's been confident, mentor, convenient explanations for those who patched the Dark Knight up, when he got shot with a gun shaped like a question mark, and other couple occasions. In fact, he's so important he managed to make it through more live-action media than Batman himself, including characters like Robin and Joker. Okay, that being said, important doesn't mean good. It just says 75 years of live-action Alfred. Now, 75 years of live-action Alfred is a long fucking time. There are definitely some stinkers in the lineup. Here's a look back at every live-action Alfred ranked from worst to best. So first we're going on the worst, and then we'll work our way to the best. But first we're starting on the worst. Eric Wilton, Batman and Robin, 1949. 1949, Batman and Robin serial is a distinction of being the first comic book movie sequel ever made. Film critic Matt Singer has put this distinction of being the first terrible comic book sequel ever made. It's not good, it's underselling things, and the plot is nonsense. Batman costume pretty much looks like a grim Avenger of the Night. He's more like wearing a goth version of a bunny suit, like from the Christmas Story, and it's mind-numbingly repetitive in its quest to fill up 4 hours of runtime. And it's even a big break backwards in time, because Batman's butler, while his predecessor, which we'll discuss below, literally changed the entire Batman franchise. Eric Wilton just sort of exists. He wears a suit, speaks with a British accent, he answers the phone at Wayne Manor. Incidentally, he looks suspicious to a modest family home in Los Angeles, not to an ancestral mansion to one of the country's wealthiest families. And that's about it. But what makes Wilton's Alfred very difficult to rank, because he's neither good nor memorable. He's really bad, and again, truly deserves to be on the bottom of the list. Unfortunately for Wilton, being the most forgettable part of a truly awful Batman movie doesn't do him any favor. Next on the list is Ian Abercrombie, Birds of Prey. Okay, looking back, it's pretty clear producers of the short-lived 2002 Birds of Prey TV series wants to make people forget about it, because it's the foundation of the Tim Burton Batman films. It's not noted in the evidence, not looking back to opening the pilot, where viewers are treated the flashback featuring Dark Knight in a version of costume pulled straight out of 1989. But this Catwoman who wore a suspicious resemblance to Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns, from Gotham City, who apparently lit only the lights behind moody clouds of smoke. Ian Abercrombie's casting was certainly a part of that. He's not playing Alfred so much as he's playing Michael Gough playing Alfred. Now, step into the shoes that's vacated when Gough retired in 1999. He's certainly not bad in that part, but considering how much of an impression he's asked to do, it's impossible to watch this without comparing the two and finding that Abercrombie comes out worst for it. What's a real shame, because Abercrombie may not be the household name, but he's an incredibly talented actor who is well known to genre fans for solid performances as the Wise Man in Army of Darkness, Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon, and Green Lantern animated series, which is very short-lived like Birds of Prey was. Now again, given the chance to put a stamp on his role, for a single season to work with Abercrombie certainly could have not been so great, because unfortunately there's a pretty big difference between could have been and was. Next on the list is William Austen, Batman 1943. Okay, so no one should ever have watched the 1943 Batman serial. It is very awful. Yes, it is very awful. Grinding away from 4.5 hours and boring and shockingly poorly written, it finds the dynamic duo getting their asses handed to them by some nameless thugs before zooming off to another boring soundstage to repeat that same process of ad nauseism. Even worse, it's staggering, it's racist, even for 1943, and with a yellow peril villain so tasteless that the narrator is inspired to praise the way the wise government rounded up with shifty-eyed Japs in order to keep them on the check. If, however, you find yourself watching Batman 1943, perhaps as a punishment for shoplifting or insurance fraud, you can look at least back to one bright spot: William Austen's portrayal of Alfred. Like his comic book counterpart of the time, he provides a bit of comic relief, but intentionally by freaking himself out by reading scary detective novels alone in Wayne Manor. Unintentionally being tasked with driving Batman and Robin around, it was really queer Bruce Wayne's convertible with the top put up. Again, what really sets Austen apart is that he's probably the most influential Alfred of our time. Because the character was introduced in comics, it was hefty, clean-shaven caricature of a gentleman. Now, after serial debut, the inexplicit success of Alfred of comic books took some time to holiday at health resorts. Now again, we turn to Batcave, sporting a thin, mustachioed new look for the match of Austen's screen portrayal. While the movies and TV shows follow what would have featured a variety of new looks for Alfred, the comics have kept Austen as the standard ever since. Next on the list is Sean Pertwee, Gotham 2014. Okay, one of the weirdest Alfreds ever in Batman over the years was this guy. Now again, he raises Batman when he was 10 years old. What? He naturally fits the role of surrogate father, but when it made sense, you kinda actually set it in action with young Bruce Wayne. You can't help but notice the whole setup is completely bonkers and possibly illegal. But very first, you see the viewers and ask the question, what is it like to have a parent from someone hell-bent punching on every criminal in the face? Now, that was what makes Sean Pertwee's performance as Alfred so fun to watch. And it's arguably the weirdest possible combination for a Bruce Wayne childhood. Pertwee has a walk a fine line between serving as a father figure and an employee. He actually pulls it off in a way that's compelling and believable. He balances the proper demeanor to the Wayne family as a butler, and he hints at working class roots and a background as a soldier, showing him he's exactly the kind of person who can conceivably raise a kid who would grow up to become the world's greatest crime fighter. Gotham's take certainly isn't perfect though, but Pertwee's performance manages just to convey how much Alfred generally cares about Bruce. Or little Bruce. Yes, little Bruce. He then, going through the kind of over-the-top child-rearing struggles, leads fistfights in Wayne Manor, and not to mention all the weirdness you try to get being a parent in a city. The mayor is a member of the temporal death cult. Raising precocious, vengeance-driven orphans could be tough enough, all if you want to worry about going to soccer practice on time, or having to deal with someone called a penguin. Next, Jeremy Irons. Yep, he's on the list. Jeremy Irons, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, 2016. Casting Jeremy Irons as Alfred Pennyworth was not such a no-brainer, because, shocking though, until 2016, until this happened. Now, one of the best things about Alfred is that, after all the fact, he's one of the very few characters who gets away with straight-up dunking on the Dark Knight at every opportunity. Providing support with sarcasm in equal measures, the crucial part to Batman's mission, and quite possibly the person who cares about Bruce Wayne more than anyone in the world, he's the only one who can point how ridiculous everything is without actually making the idea of Batman look stupid or silly in a context of those stories. Irons has the perfect role and attitude to convey that, and he takes the stage in Batman vs. Superman. He does it pretty well, but again, the best performances in the film, his wariness of being the one to maintain anti-Superman armor, rocket cars, and spooky voice changers is a perfect way to underscore the grumpy self-importance Ben Affleck has delivered as Batman. The relationship adds so much needed humanity to his character in a film with dour and cheerless at this one. The way that Irons has played Alfred isn't just a nice touch, it's also necessary. Next on the list is Michael Gough. Yes, Michael Gough, Batman 1989. He might not be the Academy Award winner like Jeremy Irons or Michael Kane, but Michael Gough is one achievement that no other Alfred could even measure or come close to, because he managed to outlast not one, but 3 Batman. Yes, 3 Batmans. Over the course of his tenure, he's appeared in 4 movies, audio dramas, and advertised campaigns, including one that's been a spurious claim that Cape Crusader was really hooked on Diet Coke. It's easy to see why there's so much longevity with a voice and demeanor as crisp as the tailored morning coat. Michael Gough was just the perfect counterpart for Tim Burton's vision of Batman. His eccentric ways and just weren't just limited to, the whole thing where he dresses up as a bat and throws gangsters and chemical vids and stuff, and archetypal butler of P.G. Wodehouse's Bertie Wooster stories. He's kind of like the butler who, is an employee needed long before the employer did, and capable of pouring you a glass of water before being asked to hang out in the Batcave remixing super criminals' stump speeches. Now, unfortunately, Michael Gough's Alfred never really seemed to get on the whole secret identity thing from the first movie. He was a little too eager to lead strange women into the Batcave, and he hopes that Bruce would someday retire to a beachfront villa in Santa Prisca, but then, by the time to the 4th movie, he's recruiting new crime fighters to join the team without so much as by your leave. He's like saying, provides the much reviled Batman and Robin with a subplot where Alfred is contracting a terminal illness that features some genuine good work, including the George Clooney best moments as Batman. Okay, so sure, that might seem like a faint praise for a movie monumentally goofy at best, but the fact that Gough can lend so much gravitas to a film that speaks to just how good he was in the role. Next on the list is Michael Kane. Yes, Michael Kane. Michael Kane from Dark Knight Trilogy 2005. Okay, so getting Jeremy Irons to play Alfred was the no-brainer, but also casting Michael Kane was also a good idea, because you can almost believe he just showed up to set up one day without even being asked. He fits that role so well with Christopher Nolan's 3 Batman movies. With bravura performances Kane is in those movies, it simply would not work without him. It's a difficult part to play too, because Kane's Alfred is a man defined to the hope that Batman will stop being Batman. But that's even tough to pull off, because everyone paying to see a movie is to see Batman. So, likable positive characters and the flaws of Bruce Wayne's plan, and Dark Knight pointed out one of those actions leads directly to the Joker showing up to launch a crime spree, exploding the hospitals, and kidnapping love interests. Exactly the kind of thing that could go wrong. Now, Alfred of the Dark Knight trilogy, though, never quite gets to that point, but he comes close to Dark Knight Rises, a movie that asks him how happy about Batman giving up crime fighting only sort of succeeds, for the most part, because Kane's performance in the script then allows him to be willing, skeptical participant in Wayne's nocturnal adventure, but to set the stage to make Batman's exploits seem even more brave and bold than they really were otherwise. Next on the list is Alan Napier. Alan Napier, Batman 1966. Alan Napier, Batman 1966. Yep. The trick with the 1966 Batman TV series is that it really works as long as everyone plays that straight, especially the good guys. It's only the reasons that Batman himself is depicted to be ultimately square. He has to give the endlessly colorful special guest villains a solid foundation to go over the top, but any sly wink from the audience causes that whole thing to collapse. So Alan Napier gets to go far more fun than the most. But for the most part, his role is a little bit more than Batman's steadfast Satorian receptionist. He's also the one who answers the bat phone, and also when Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara call the hotline. Now, in addition to make viewers wonder what would happen if Gordon and O'Hara ever stopped to wonder what prominent Gotham citizens a proper British butler answering your phone, this allowed you to show the feature with wonderful, bizarre glimpses of Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson's personal life, where they're just busy with three-dimensional chess or conjugating Latin verbs. Every now and then, Napier's Alfred got his chance to shine. But over that course of that series, he pulls off a daring rescue while dressed as Batman himself. He even managed to be the only member of the team to learn Batgirl's secret identity. From that turn on, he means to be acting as the secret aide de camp to all the free crime fighters, while also keeping the identity secret from the others. No other Alfred has pulled this off, and his epic fireplace poker fencing showdown with the Joker in Season 2 is among the best moments of his character. It's any medium. Putting it all together, you've got the best live-action Alfreds of all time. Okay, so again, let me know your thoughts about that every version of Alfred ranked. Do you agree with this list? Do you like this list? Let me know. And again, let me know your thoughts about this list. And again, do you think the 1966 Alfred is the best Alfred? Let me know. And you have a great, great night. And I'll see you guys in another one shortly. Bye.